Okay, so another look for maybe a holiday look, maybe just a fall or winter look. I don't know, but a little bit darker in the crease with grays and some gold and a little bit of a brown with gold shimmer in it here. So today's nail color is OPI, and yeah, I was baking last night, so, and not a long time after I was doing my nails, so they got kind of, you know, banged up. Yeah, they don't look very good, but never mind. This is Big Apple Red from OPI. I will show it like this instead, you know, like that. That's the color of it. And on my nails it looks a bit different because they, you know, this shape, but you know, that's the color. Very, very pretty red. I think it's one of the best reds I have. And I kind of have a lot. A lot of different reds. Yeah, it's a very pretty red. Today I'm just gonna have to keep this one down because it just, the way it's cut this time, if I put it to the side it just stays there and then it becomes all funny. So I'm adding this Guerlain eyelid primer, and under it of course I have the eye cream from the morning. I'm not putting too much of this eye primer, just really here, like where I'm having all kinds of colors going, you know, around the eyes a bit, little bit blue, a little bit, you know, red, things we have around the eyes. You don't have too many things over there, but you know, I like to make it like a nice one color thing going, and then the eyeshadow looks better that goes on top, especially if I don't need if I don't use a cream eyeshadow as well. Today I'm using a base though, eyeshadow, a cream eyeshadow. It's from Smashbox and it's this light color in the number, it's in Topaz. And I'm scooping some out the way I usually do. It's like a beige gold kind of thing. Really, like. And I'm using the same brush like for the primer. I managed to get some in the lashes again, I see. Kind of taking it up like that, you know. And a little bit under too, turning it the other way around. Going under so I can like make the eyeshadow more get stuck over there to something. Blending it out with this other brush. So it won't be too thick and too much of a line, you know. It dries up and then it's really like a line here, so I don't want that. And I want it thinner, you know. Don't have those too thick. Today I want to use this Night Goals from Dior. It's like, I think it's a Christmas, not this year's, from a year back or two. And it's browns and, you know, neutral colors with this really glossy gold. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but I'm sure I'm going to use the rest, you know. This one goes in the inner corner, the light one. And this one of course in the outer corner, and this one maybe together on the, here in the middle. So the light is gold, whitish gold in the inner corner with a small brush. And now of course it's on top of the cream eyeshadow, so it will get more, you know, payoff, color payoff like that, that you can really see it. Now we take another brush to smooth this out here in the inner corner. So I'm a little bit going over this here so it won't be too stark and too, you know, too sharp over there, the line from it, let's say. I'm going down a little bit here too, just to really brighten up the inner corner. You know the drill. So after a cream eyeshadow base, I'm taking just a compact powder, going from the brow until down here, so that what I put on now after won't get stuck in the cream eyeshadow. But it still will give here, it will give like a really nice base for what I'm gonna put over there. So now I'm starting with this grey, mid-tone grey, same brush in the crease. And it's not exactly matte, but it's also not very shimmery, you know. It's like this. It's kind of matte actually. Not so much color to it. I'm not putting it very strongly. Just to give some kind of a base for the crease over there. Like that. I'm using the same color but with a smaller brush. Also in the crease. Just kind of here. Where it's extra puffy. Kind of here in the middle. I'm kind of dotting it in over there, like that. And then slightly taking it down. And also slightly taking it to the brow like that. And then I will just soften it together. Like that to the brow, and then I will just blend with this brush a little bit together here. To make this whole area here a little bit. So now I'm blending these two. It's like a taupey champagne with this gold together. And I'm adding it here on the moving lid of the moving part of the lid. Moving lid of the part. Yeah, here. And it's almost the same color as the cream eyeshadow actually. Depends how much gold I'm putting, but I don't want it too golden, so I'm putting more of the champagne a bit. But it is kind of golden. Both of them have some gold in it. And here again I'm taking it up a little bit more. Because of the more hooded side. Since I'm adding it like this today. Cleaned up this brush a bit and I'm blending just here. Where it comes together with the crease. Kind of. Like that. Taking a dark brown. There's some gold shimmer in it. And I'm adding it on a fluffier brush like that. A little bit here. That's too little. Kind of down here. Does it show? Yeah. Here. And down here. To blend it I'm actually taking again the same grey from here and this brush to blend the brown, that it will be also a little bit more matte and not so strong as either, you know. Going over in the crease with it like that. Kind of letting this part be a bit darker today than usual. Just to do something different. Like that. The dark brown also, I'm taking it under eye. With a brush like this. Slightly pulling it out here. Kind of pulling it like this, pushing it in, and then slightly dragging out, so I actually get the color in there, because otherwise this brush is a bit too big to go into this gap that I have, or the fold that I have over there. And then also again going over it here. To add a little bit of warmth, maybe I'm taking this kind of color here and adding it from here on the cream eyeshadow. So I cleaned under the eyes, and I cleaned out a lot. I didn't leave much under the eye, but there's still enough, you know. And I added a concealer already, and now I'm just curling the lashes, adding mascara. So here I added a mascara like this. It's a Dior Show Extase. This is just a sample, and that's what it looks like. But it's making a huge difference. Like, these are my own lashes, like without anything. And those are with the mascara. Nothing else. Not even a primer. I didn't put the primer even. Because this one is really gives a nice volume. Of course it gives even more if you do the Dior Show primer. Today I'm using, on top of this green tinted primer from Givenchy, I'm using Shiseido Perfect Refining Foundation, SPF 15 in number I00 and 020. Those. And I will apply it with the brush like this, a dense brush. It's a little bit damp from cleaning it yesterday. Those you really, for foundation, really have to clean them straightly, almost as fast as you can after the applying of the foundation, I think, because otherwise it's kind of really hard to get them completely clean. I mean, you can, but you have to work much harder on it. So those two colors together, I'm just putting it now on my hand. It's not what I usually do, but yeah, well. Starting here where it's the reddest part of it, my skin. Going down a bit because I have a feeling that it's a little bit more yellow. I'm kind of more neutral in my skin tone, you know, you can tell. Also here I'm red, so I'm going to add some here too. But I'm not this yellow. But when I, you know, when it's blended out, it doesn't look so yellow. Plus the yellow helps me. I didn't use this foundation from Shiseido for a long time. I really like it, yeah. I'm not giving too much attention to my brows now. But still, something small, you know. And yeah, again, this is number 1 from the meteorites. 1, 2, 3, they're all in the permanent line. And again, I'm using a brush like that, a fluffy, soft brush, not too soft, not too harsh, in between kind of thing. Just to go over and give a nice glow. And on this foundation, you don't, maybe if you have oily skin. Yeah, maybe if you have oily skin, you do need to set it, like, really set it. But I usually need to set my foundations just not to get them in the lines, you know, after half an hour. Just with a little loose powder. But this foundation, I find, it does stay a bit sticky, but you know, this is, I'm not using these as setting powders. I'm using it just as a finishing powder, you know. Not as a setting powder really, just as a finishing glow powder thing. So, but for this foundation I can actually use just this, you know, all over. And it's enough. I will use from Clarins this Sunset Coral. It's a blush like this. Blush, this is kind of a bronzer, but that's definitely a blush with a lot of gold sheen like that. But a coral one, you know. I'm using it with a brush like that. On the lips, I'm using this Smashbox nude lip pencil. Color like that. Kind of a pinky rose, really. Pinky nude. Whoa. Pinky nude. And because I added now this coral kind of thing on the cheeks. Slight coral, yeah. It doesn't give a lot because I didn't put a lot also. I'm going over that one with this, also from Smashbox. It's what's the name of it? Splendid. Yeah. So it's kind of a peachy coral as well, but it's very light one. So not happy with these lip colors at all. So I'm taking this lip gloss from, what is it? Estee Lauder, I think. Yeah. It's a coral with gold in it. Something like that. Just in the middle. A little bit more in the middle, because everything is in the lines already. It just looks gross. Don't want too much of this either. Now it looks a bit more normal. Well.